Over the past few years, we are passing through a climate change. However, one of the issues we have is that we don't see the progress we have. This creates a distorted picture of the problem. So, instead of searching for solutions, they are involved in the anxiety of what to do, or the missing information that fills them with despair.
Hi, I'm Mariana Rannebeck. As media consumption grows, so does eco-anxiety among young people, yet their climate knowledge doesn't keep pace. Research from the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication shows that while media coverage increases awareness of climate risks, it rarely provides real solutions, leaving the youth feeling anxious and powerless. Sensational headlines and misinformation make it hard to differentiate facts from fiction, while disinformation campaigns exploit media to spread doubt and division. An example is how fossil fuel companies have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to spread false content on social media. One analysis found that 16 of the world's biggest polluters were responsible for placing more than 1,700 of these ads on Facebook in 2021. Instead of empowering young people, today's media often leaves them anxious, confused, and disengaged. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Fatima. The media uses headlines such as Code Red for Humanity and We're past the point of no return to fill fear into young people. Each day, we are bombarded with worst case scenarios like floods, wildfires, species extinction, but we could barely see the practical solutions we could take. Research has shown that eco-anxiety can cause burnouts, depression, disengagement from environmental issues. When the media has refused to motivate action, to do so effectively, it needs to strike a balance between urgency and empowerment, with a modicum of attention given to community projects that are working in simple ways teens can get involved. Fear isn't the only thing we need. We need a clear, optimistic path forward. Thank you.
Every day, we face urgent environmental threats: floods, fires, rising temperatures. Climate change is real, but let's be clear. It is not the media causing fear, it's the crisis itself. We are Debate Team Con 1, and we strongly oppose this motion. In truth, the media does more to support climate action than it does to fuel anxiety. First, the media is a catalyst for youth awareness and mobilization. From documentaries to social media campaigns, the media educates millions of young people about climate change. Without this exposure, many would remain unaware and disengaged.
Take Greta Thunberg. Her local school strike became a global movement, Fridays for Future, because of media coverage. Youth climate activism thrive thanks to platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and X, which was formerly known as Twitter. Even creators like MrBeast are using their influence to fund real climate action like cleaning up our oceans. Second, eco-anxiety isn't media manipulation. It's a reasonable response to a dangerous reality. Scientific warnings from the IPCC are alarming, and rightfully so. The media isn't inventing this fear, it's reporting facts, and those facts are necessary for change.
Blaming the media distracts from the real issue, government and corporate inaction. It's not panic the media separating its pressure. Third, the media doesn't just show the problem, it highlights solutions. Stories of solar energy, reforestation, and green cities give people hope. They show that progress is possible and that young people are part of that progress.
Finally, the media plays a vital role in holding our organizations accountable. It investigates brainwashing, exposes pollution scandals, and tracks climate commitments. By this, the media acts as the catalyst for truth and helps spread news regarding climate change mitigation. In conclusion, yes, eco-anxiety is real. But the solution is not to fret only, rather to act on it. The media poses as the helping hand which fosters our hopes and inspirations. So no, the media is not the problem. It's our strongest ally in this fight.
We stand for action.
We stand with young people.
And we stand firmly against this motion.
Stand for truth, not fear. The media connects us, informs us, and inspires us. It turns awareness into action and brings global voices together for one cause, our future. Through stories of hope, resilience, and innovation, the media shows us what's possible and reminds us that we all have a role to play. That's not fear, that's strength.
On behalf of the Pro2 team, which consists of students from different parts of the world, we firmly support the motion. This house believes the media does more to fuel eco-anxiety than to support climate action in young people. Our first point is that the media often focuses on crisis narrative without offering practical solutions. According to the Media and Climate Change Observatory, major outlets emphasize disaster and fear-based content, leaving little space for constructive solution-oriented stories. This creates psychological consequences. A 2021 Lancet Planetary Health study found that 59% of youth worldwide feel extremely worried about climate change, with 56% believing humanity is doomed and over 45% saying that these feelings affect their daily life. In Fiji, while climate coverage is growing, it remains mostly short-term and event-based. Young Fijians, already facing rising sea levels and stronger storms, are left feeling anxious and unsupported, with no clear path for action.
Another concern is social media, now the main source of climate information for most youth. A 2022 Pew Research Center report states that nearly 75% of young people aged 13 to 24 rely on social media for news. While it spreads awareness, it also promotes doom-scrolling or compulsively consuming negative content. A 2023 BMPC psychology study shows that platforms like TikTok and Instagram increases anxiety, especially when content lacks helpful advice. In Indonesia, social media floods youth with distressing climate posts, often without proper content. This leads to fear, fatigue, and even misinformation. In Malaysia, a 2021 study warns that unverified climate content adds stress and confusion. And in Hong Kong, students exposed to repeat climate fear content report sleeplessness and recurring anxiety. In short, that the media does just inform, it overwhelms.
Lastly, the media often blames individuals instead of addressing the larger systems driving the crisis. According to the Carbon Majors report, just 100 companies account for over 70% of the industrial greenhouse gas emissions since 1988. Yet mainstream reporting rarely emphasizes this. Instead, the media focuses on lifestyle changes like recycling or eating less meat, implying that individuals are solely responsible. This shifts attention away from the urgent need for corporate accountability and policy reform. In the Philippines, climate coverage centers around disasters like typhoons, but rarely highlights long-term solutions or youth initiatives. This leaves young Filipinos, one of the world's most climate-vulnerable populations, feeling powerless and underinformed. In Mongolia, environmental issues like desertification and air pollution receive limited media and focus. With political stories dominating coverage, youth have little access to climate knowledge or action pathways. To conclude, the evidence clearly shows that the structure of media, both traditional and digital, tends to intensify eco-anxiety than empower young people. The combination of fear-driven content, lack of solutions, and misplaced responsibility fosters helplessness instead of meaningful engagement.
Hello everyone, I am Akshat Parmar from India, and have you ever stopped to think whether the media actually helps us to take actions on climate change or just makes us feel panic? Because let's be real today, the most of the things we are seeing today are just news and the headlines screaming disasters. Only 10 years left, no future for youth, code red for humanity, fire, flood and fear, problems after problems, no solution in the sight. And this constant barrage, it's just not informing us, it's overwhelming us.
According to research from the BBC and the National History Museum, eco-anxiety is now a real mental health challenge, especially among young people. But here's the truth, blaming the media is missing the point. We are not anxious because of stories, we are anxious because of reality. Glaciers are melting, forests are burning, species are vanishing. This isn't fiction, it's science, and if the media didn't cover it, that would be the real danger.
Still, it doesn't mean the media can't change, and many outlets are already about it. Take BBC Future Plan. It chooses to spotlight solutions, not just surface level panic. We see stories of reforestation, coral reef recovery, bamboo housing projects, and breakthrough clean energy innovations. This kind of reporting doesn't freeze us. It frees us to imagine possibilities beyond the crisis.
Hi everyone, my name is Shiva Khan and I'm from Pakistan. So today let's talk about the youth. So instead of drowning in doom, the young people are joining and launching climate petitions. They are joining the eco hackathons. They are exploring green jobs like introduced or promoted by Ben Kinmon Center. That's not anxiety, that's agency. We are moving from panic to participation, and yes, the media is playing a very vital role in this transformation. From Kenya to Germany to Sri Lanka to Pakistan, youth is standing connected by a global story of resistance and renewal. Movements like Fridays of Future does not rise in silence. They are amplified by the media. Keita Temper and Vanessa Henekte did not just hold signs, they spoke on global stages because their voices were broadcasted to the world.
So, instead of saying the media causes eco-anxiety, maybe it's time to recognize something deeper. That eco-anxiety can be the beginning, not the end. The team at Force of Nature talks about this, how fear becomes power when met with the right support. That's what great journalism does. It doesn't just scare us, it shows us the path forward.
It connects, yes, across borders. It gives us facts, hope, and reason to care. So no, this house should not blame the media, because when media is responsible, ethical, and forward-looking, it does more than inform. It inspires. It turns anxiety into action, and that's what our future needs.
This is probably one of the top 12, so the top dozen, of all storms ever seen on this planet.
Young people today are deeply engaged with the climate crisis. We care, we speak out, and we want real change. But instead of feeling empowered to act, many of us feel overwhelmed, anxious, and even powerless. Why? Because the media shapes our reality, and what it shows us is fear, not direction. From constant headlines of disaster to shocking images with no solutions, the media spreads panic, not progress. This isn't just about climate, it's about a crisis in how we think, feel, and respond. The media isn't helping us, it's hurting us. And that's why we're speaking up.
Most climate headlines use words like irreversible tipping point, doomsday, or climate catastrophe. They shock, but they don't guide. The media knows fear grabs attention. It's what gets clicks and views. But this constant exposure to terrifying news leads to what psychologists call eco-anxiety. A 2021 study by The Lancet found that 59% of young people said they felt extremely worried about climate change, and over 45% said it negatively affected their daily life.
There are people taking action, youth climate activists, green tech innovators, and nationals making real progress. But how often do those stories go viral? Media coverage is heavily based toward disaster that creates the illusion that nothing is being done, which is simply not true. This skews young people's perception and leads to climate victims that believe we are doomed anyway. So, why try when you don't see positive change? They start believing they can make a difference, and that's dangerous.
Let's be real. Most of us get our climate news from TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. These platforms aren't built for education, they're built for engagement. And what drives engagement? Emotion, drama, and fear. A 10-second reel of a forest burning is viral far quicker than a 5-minute explainer on renewable energy policy. And for teens, many of whom are still developing critical thinking skills, it becomes overwhelming, not empowering. Instead of learning how to solve the problem, we are just learning how to panic.
We're not saying the media shouldn't report on the climate crisis. They should. But the way they're doing it is damaging. They highlight fear, but hide solutions. They amplify guilt, but not guidance. Young people don't need more fear. We need hope. We need tools. And we need truth. Because without hope, there's no action. And without action, there's no future. And we, the youth, deserve a future we can believe in. Thank you.
Salut!
Eira.
Salut!
Ciao.
Hello everyone. We are Team Con 3 and we are here to oppose the following motion. This house believes the media does more to fuel eco-anxiety than to support climate action in young people.
The danger isn't anxiety, it's being unaware. Without the media, millions of young people wouldn't even know the truth about climate change. No school strikes, no fights for our future. We can't solve a crisis we don't even know exists. The media makes it impossible to ignore.
The media spreads too much fear. In today's day and age, media companies are everywhere, from TV to social media to billboards on streets. Thus, they can have a huge effect on people. When we say that the world is doomed or that the airplanes will go to return, we don't actually believe that. They have simply figured out that bad makes them more money but getting more views. But we're saying good, because of how we get to where we are now. Most people not doing the things that we should to save our beautiful planet.
While media platforms play a crucial role in raising awareness, their impact is twofold. On one hand, sensational coverage and doomsday narratives can intensify eco-anxiety, leaving audiences feeling helpless and overwhelmed. On the other hand, when used constructively, media can empower individuals by highlighting solutions, showcasing grassroots movements, and promoting sustainable practices. The challenge lies in striking a balance, informing the public without polarizing them, and fostering a sense of agency rather than despair.
Eco-anxiety affects teenagers because they feel powerless while seeing environmental crisis, and not because social media is talking about it. Social media doesn't cause eco-anxiety, it instead fights against it. It says, here's the problem, come, let's fight against it. And there's not anxiety, there's awareness.
In conclusion, the media does more to support climate action in young people. The media is a bridge and not a barrier to climate action. We do not disregard the fact that eco-anxiety exists, but we reject the idea that media fuels the eco-anxiety in young people. In a world full of climate crisis, the young people need a voice. The young people need a lighthouse and not silence. Unfortunately, we have found the light, because that light is the media. The light that has come to shine, the light that has come to empower, the light that has come to empower climate action in young people. Together, we can make the world a better place and free from eco-anxiety. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Janata Wood and I'm from Jordan.
Hi, my name is Kanata and I'm from Turkey.
Good afternoon, I'm Alexia and I'm from Spain.
My name is Songde Constance Chiriya from Zambia.
I am Haling from Vietnam.
We're all doomed by 2030. These are dramatic headlines that the media often uses to grab attention, instead of focusing on practical solutions. This constant negativity doesn't inspire action in us, young people. Instead, it overwhelms us and it fuels eco-anxiety, leaving us feeling powerless rather than empowered.
One of our group main arguments is about the media is focusing to create a content about the disaster rather than solutions on climate and progress. Me and my team believe that this unbalance makes the future seem hopeless for young people like myself. And we feel that instead of proclaiming action in us, the media causes fear or even anxiety about making it harder for us to feel that we can contribute.
My argument is that the physiological impacts are not acknowledged. Mental health consequences of constant negative media coverage are rarely acknowledged or addressed by media outlets, potentially impacting eco-anxiety as it becomes ignored or normalized despite being a real and growing concern among the young.
My statement is that influencers fuel eco-anxiety due to the content they release. Basically, influencer content pushes us to buying goods that we actually don't need. This results in an increase in global warming because of the waste of raw material and the gases released during the manufacturing process. Thanks for listening to me.
One way the media fuels eco-anxiety in young people rather than support climate action is through the lack of youth-friendly information. Most climate stories are buried under complicated science, technical language, or worst of all, catastrophic headlines like "The Earth is doomed" or "We have 5 years left to live." And while these scare tactics may grab attention and be
financially beneficial for news outlets, they don't explain why this is happening or what we can do about it, and they rarely provide real solutions. And when young people are constantly being hit with terrifying news they don't fully understand or grasp, without tools or hope, it doesn't create action, it creates paralysis. And it makes us feel powerless and helpless. The media needs to stop overwhelming us with fear and start communicating in ways that are clear, relatable, and actually helpful. Because without that, how can we be part of the solution?
We are Team Con4, and we are arguing against the motion. This House believes the media does more to fuel eco-anxiety than to support climate action in young people.
The media does not fuel helplessness. It fuels global youth empowerment. Greta Thunberg first learned about the climate crisis through the media. Social media gave her the tools to act, to speak out, and to spark a worldwide movement. She is not alone. Many activists around the world were all amplified by media coverage, turning local action into global influence. These young leaders didn't rise from fear. They rose because the media gave them visibility. If the media had stayed silent, the movement would have stayed silent too. The media did not paralyze our generation, it mobilized it.
Algorithms affect what people see. Whether more fear-inducing content or climate action ideas are shown depends on the user. If you look up the phrase eco-anxiety on Google, it shows around 42 million results, whereas the phrase climate action shows around 900 million results. Young people's media is more peer-oriented, which means people like us make content for us to consume, instead of the more professional news outlets like newspapers or news broadcasting. Climate change is also being taught more in schools, which teaches young people to be more vigilant and less easily misled by news online.
Media is a tool for climate education and engagement among young people. The media play a key role in youth environmental education by disseminating information about the climate, its cause, and its consequences. They enable young people to better understand current environmental issues. This knowledge is essential for developing critical thinking, ecological awareness, and informed engagement. By learning about what is happening in the world, young people can form opinions, learn about solutions, and choose to take action.
The media fosters global solidarity by connecting youth across borders to collaborate on climate action. This adds a valuable dimension. Media not only informs and empowers, but it also builds community and collective action, helping young people feel less alone in their concerns. Through documentaries, articles, podcasts, and social media, young people gain the knowledge they need to understand the crisis and respond effectively. Most importantly, the media fosters global solidarity by connecting youth across borders. It enables collaboration, shared experiences, and the sense that we are part of a larger movement rather than isolated individuals overwhelmed by global crisis. In this way, media is not a source of despair but a powerful tool for awareness, action, and collective hope in the face of climate change.
Ultimately, the media is not the source of fear, it's the spark for change. It educates, connects, and empowers young people to take climate action. Eco-anxiety may exist, but the media turns that anxiety into purpose. That's why we firmly oppose the motion.
So for round two, each team will be able to present their argument, and then another team can also rebuttal that argument. Each round is for 1 minute each for each person. And also, if you do have a rebuttal, please do put your hand up straight away. Yep. Ose, would you like to go first?
Thank you. Let's start. So, guys, let's get ready. We're going to start with con 2. So, con 2, start.
Okay. Imagine a boy scrubbing water ditch, asking his mother, "Why does the water smell?" Her calm reply, "Just boil it longer," reveals a harsh reality many people face every day. For some, it's a normal life, but for many young people around the world, the reality is only known through news, headlines, and media stories. These headlines can have two very different action effects. One is they can either inform and empower young people to take action. And second is they can create overwhelming fear and helplessness. Today, I and my team will argue that the media, when volunteered, plays a critical role in educating and motivating us to address the climate crisis, not just in spreading fear. And first, the media is often our first source of information about environmental problems like population, water shortage, climate change, and for example, take Kurdistan as an example. When occupiers
Thank you
report that.
so much. Sorry, your time is up. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone have any rebuttals to that? Please put your hand up. If not, can Pro 3 please come up? Time, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, Pro 3, start.
The con teams say media drives awareness and action, but awareness isn't the crisis. Overexposure is. According to Nature Climate Change, 84% of young people already feel moderately or extremely worried about climate change. The problem isn't ignorance, it's emotional burnout. They mention Greta Thunberg as proof of empowerment, but Greta herself has spoken about her struggle with depression and eco-anxiety before taking action. She isn't the norm, she's the exception. They claim the media shows solutions, yet the Reuters Institute Digital News report found that 60% of youth now avoid climate news altogether because it makes them feel anxious and powerless. Fear alone doesn't inspire, it overwhelms. The media is fueling anxiety, not action. That is all.
Thank you. Thank you. Does anyone have a rebuttal to that? Please put your hand up. Any team. Okay. I see Rebecca. What team are you part of?
I am part of Team Con 3.
Perfect. Tam, are you ready? Okay, present your argument.
I wanted to do a rebuttal on what the Team Pro 3 said. I was thinking that they mentioned the fact that people are actually afraid to look at news about the environment owing to the fact that they get anxious and even depressed. Well, I could say that people could be a bit rational and choose actual trustworthy sources and official sources that do not have these shocking headlines, and they can get actual useful information about all the environmental issues that happen in the world. That's my intervention.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Who is the speaker for Con 3?
I can speak.
Perfect. Tam, are you ready? Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. So we see that the real danger isn't anxiety, it's not knowing, and the media exposes the crisis to the world. Without it, we see that most people wouldn't even know what climate change is, let alone fight it. And you obviously cannot fix what you can't see. And obviously, the media shows us that it's not too late. From solar technology in Africa to youth-led movement wins the world, these stories prove that we're not doomed, and fear might spark attention and hope sustains action. We see from Side Pro that they're only telling us the negatives and negatives, but they don't pose us a solution that can actually help the youth. The youth already uses media every single day. We said 90% of the youth use media, so why not use that tool to actually help us in positive ways than only focusing on the negatives? So the media doesn't just inform us, it equips us from protest organizing to eco-education. It gives us a way to channel our fear into impact. It turns climate worry into climate work. So shielding us from reality isn't
Thank you
protection, it's
so much,
disrespect.
Con
We are
3,
not
but
fragile.
unfortunately your
The media
time is
treats us
up.
like we equals in this fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have
Thank
a
you.
rebuttal? No?
I have rebuttal.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead?
Yes, please. So they said that the danger isn't anxiety, however, it's being unaware of it. But what we're saying is that there should be no media. I mean, we're not saying that there should be no media. We're saying that there should be better media. So we agree that awareness is important, but awareness without balance creates fear, not action. Right now, young people aren't suffering from a lack of awareness, they're suffering from overexposure to panic filled headlines that don't show them what they can do to help. A 2022 study published in the Nature of Climate Change, found that 84% of young people feel moderately or extremely worried about climate change. Clearly, they're not aware. They are drowning in fear. And also, one of the con teams said that media is evolving, and then they give examples of BBC Future Planet. The BBC Future Planet is a good example, but ask most teenagers how many of them even know it exists. The truth is, positive solution focused journalism is rare and doesn't get published by algorithms.
Thank you, Pro 3, but your time is up. Thank you. Can we have the speaker for Pro 4 to put your hand up? Okay. Timer, are you ready? Pro 4, start.
Yes, okay. So we believe that the media does more to fuel eco-anxiety, and one way is through fear-driven headlines. And you've probably seen this before because these headlines are designed to shock and scare because fear grabs attention, attention grabs clicks, and clicks drive profit. But here's the problem. While fear makes us stop and read, it often lacks context and it almost always never tells us what's being done to fix the problem. And meanwhile, positive stories exist. They are often buried under the more negative ones because when we are given two headlines, we most likely click the one that scares us because us humans, we are psychologically driven by fear. So instead of informing and empowering us, the media overwhelms us with fear, and that fuels eco anxiety far more than it supports real climate action.
Thank you, Pro 4. Your time is up. Do we have a rebuttal?
Can I please give rebuttal, if that's okay?
Okay. Okay. Time, are you ready? Go ahead.
Yeah, this argument relies on the false idea that anxiety is purely negative. In reality, we see that eco anxiety shows that young people are paying attention, and that's the starting point of activism. What Side Pro ignores is that apathy and not anxiety is the real threat to climate change. So we see that the youth led movements like Fridays for Future and local community campaigns exist because young people saw the alarming media coverage and chose to act. So this is not paralysis, it's progress. The emotional discomfort of climate reality is necessary. We don't build resilience from hiding from reality, but by confronting it and building systems of support. The solution isn't to suppress urgency, it's to provide outlets for constructive action, which is exactly what we look here, even TSL promotes. Our team doesn't deny eco anxiety. We want to recognize it, we want to respect it, and we want to turn it into energy for change. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Con 3. Can the speaker for Con 1 please put your hand up? Thank you. Time, are you ready? Go ahead.
So, firstly, the pro teams claim that the media causes eco anxiety and emotional harm. But anxiety isn't caused by the media, it's caused by the reality of the climate crisis. Blaming the messenger doesn't simply solve the problem. In fact, some level of concern is necessary to drive action. Secondly, they argue that the media focuses too much on fear and not enough on solutions. However, there are countless examples like National Geographic, the UN climate campaigns, or even social media influencers who not only raise awareness but promote solutions and sustainable habits. The media has evolved and young people are being empowered, not paralyzed. Lastly, if the media didn't report on climate change, how would youth even know enough to demand climate action? The very movements like Fridays for Future were born from the media coverage. So, in short, media doesn't create helplessness, it creates awareness, accountability, and action.
Thank you so much. Do we have a rebuttal for Con 1? Okay, is that Pro... Oh. Okay, Pro 4, do you want to give a rebuttal? Time, are you ready? Go ahead.
So, media coverage tends to spotlight extreme events, triggering emotional overwhelming. Because through sensational headlines, they grab clicks, but they rarely answer, what can I do now, or how does my action matter? Meaning they are the messenger, and the messages they give us trigger us and overwhelm us, initially making us feel extremely cowardice. So I initially believe that the messenger gives a message that overwhelms us, the young. That is all.
Thank you. Can the speaker for Pro 1 put your hand up? Time, are you ready? Go ahead.
While the media is often praised as our strongest ally in fighting climate change, the evidence tells a more complicated story. Frequent exposure to climate news is directly linked to increased anxiety, especially among young people. A study by The Lancet shows that 59% report being very or extremely worried, and 49% say it negatively affects their daily lives. This anxiety doesn't always lead to action. In fact, overwhelming coverage can reduce people's belief that their actions matter, causing paralysis instead of mobilization. The media isn't just reporting facts, it often reports to sensationalism, amplifying fear and confusion. While some point to inspiring figures like Greta Thunberg, large-scale studies show that most climate coverage is dominated by doom and disaster, leaving audiences feeling hopeless rather than empowered. If the media truly inspired action, we wouldn't see such widespread eco-anxiety and despair. In reality, the media's current approach does more to fuel anxiety than to spark real climate solutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have a rebuttal for Pro 1? Okay, I see 2 hands up. Okay, can we have Con 1, please?
Thank you for providing me the floor. Actually, I believe the proposition must be misleaded because the youth are actually not made mostly in more mainstream media. They actually use the social media, and through their FYP, if I am not wrong, they are actually connected to their favorite creators. This way, they actually are not mostly what can I say, given to the mainstream media about climate anxiety. Rather, they can actually listen or view the other creators or influencers they believe in who actually support eco empowerment rather than eco anxiety. I believe the mainstream media or social media the youth use are used for eco empowerment, not eco anxiety.
Thank you. Can we have the speaker for Con 4 to raise their hand? Perfect. Time, are you ready? Okay, you may start.
While the proposition argues that the media worsens eco-anxiety through fear-based narratives and individual blame, this overlooks a crucial truth. Climate change is a crisis. Yes, many young people feel anxious, but anxiety isn't inherently harmful. It often fuels action. Greta Thunberg herself has said she learned about the climate crisis through the media, and it was her anger, not comfort, that sparked global movement. The claim that the media ignores solutions is also misleading. Outlets like The Guardian and BBC regularly spotlight climate innovation, youth activism, and policy breakthroughs. It's not that solutions are absent, it's that the crisis demands we confront hard truths alongside them. Finally, suggesting that media shifts blames to individuals dismisses the broader media. Documentaries and digital campaigns consistently expose the failures of corporations and governments. So, no, the media doesn't feel fear, it feels urgency. And in the face of a global emergency, that's not only valid, it's necessary.
Thank you. Do we have a rebuttal for Con 4? So sorry, it's kind of hard to see. Okay, so can we have Pro 4, please?
Yes, okay. While you said that anxiety is not inherently bad, and it's true that caring a little can drive change, but when that anxiety is being constantly fed by sensationalist media without offering hope or direction, it does become harmful. And while it may motivate some, it can shut people down. And if the goal is to channel concern into action, then the media needs to nurture constructive engagement and not chronic fear.
Thank you. Can we have the speaker for Pro 2 to raise their hand, please?
I'm part of Pro 2.
Okay.
I'll be speaking.
So you're speaking, okay. Thank you.
Our opponents from Con teams claim that the media sufficiently highlights art solutions and constructive narratives. But let's be realistic about what dominates our screens and minds. For every positive story of renewable energy, there are 10 screaming headlines about point of no return or code ready for humanity from UN climate reports. Considering the media's framing of IPCC reports, and phrases like final warning or window closing are plastered everywhere, and at the same time, detailed solutions are often buried deep down within the articles, if they appear at all. This isn't solution journalism, this is alarmist pluralism. If solutions are so prevalent, why are people constantly reporting a sense of overwhelming dread rather than empowerment optimism?
Thank you. Do we have a rebuttal for Pro 2? Is that Con 3? Who's speaking for Con 3?
I can speak for Con 3. I'm on
Okay.
his team.
Okay, perfect. Time, are you ready? Okay, go ahead.
So we see this argument simply falls apart when we look at reality. So fear alone doesn't dominate climate reporting, but urgency does, and rightly so. Climate change is not a soft issue, it's a planetary emergency, and the idea that media should tone it down is not just unrealistic, it's irresponsible. And the claim that most media doesn't offer solutions is simply just not true. Most major outlets dedicate full sections to sustainability, innovations, and youth movements. So prop is cherry picking headlines without acknowledging the broader picture. And let's actually be clear for a second. If the youth people not only are seeing fear, the issue is with the algorithm consumption and not the media content itself. What Pro fails to understand that hiding or softening the truth doesn't build hope. It's just creating ignorance. So we see that we are going to value honest awareness that drives informed actions because we are the youth, we are not weak, we are strong, and we are the future. Therefore, we need to be shown the reality so we can change it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So the first team will start off as Pro 4. Anyone from Pro 4 that would like to speak? Yep. Carl's the timer. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
So the truth of the matter is that for one to stand up, we actually need to analyze where the problem comes from. And this is from the media outlets. We belong to a generation where we believe in using the media and media outlets for information compared to reading newspapers and the like. And if the media is giving us information that overwhelms us and gives us this stress to feel that the world is ending through their headlines that they want to promote, because journalism is initially about saying something that interests people so that people can read your articles and the news you put online. But then that's the problem. How are they interpreting it? Does it give us hope or does it make us hopeless? And that's the truth and the bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have a rebuttal for Pro 4? Yeah, Con 4? Yep. If you would like to go time already.
Okay, so although we turn to media for information, phrases like final warning or the end of the world aren't fear tactics necessarily, they can be scientific reality. When experts say we have limited time, they're not necessarily trying to scare us, they're trying to stop us from waiting until it's too late. Urgency isn't the enemy, inaction is. So, headlines such as this can foster the ability for us to speak out and take action because the fear may drive us to act.
Thank you. Next we have Con 1. Any speakers from Con 1? Time ready? Go ahead.
So, what was mentioned before was that the media causes anxiety. So, even though this was stated before, it doesn't really mean that media as a whole doesn't fuel action as well. So, the anxiety can be a powerful catalyst. So, it pushes people to care, to speak out, and even to act. So, for example, movements like Fridays for Future were born out of climate anxiety, and they've changed global conversations and policies. The media's role in creating urgency is quite essential. Without emotional impact, people remain disengaged. Anxiety isn't the problem. Hopelessness is. When the media pairs urgency with stories of solutions, action, and progress, that anxiety becomes energy. It motivates behavior change, civic engagement, and demand for policy reform. So rather than fueling paralysis, the media, when used responsibly, helps transform fear into climate action.
Thank you, Con 1. Does anyone have a rebuttal for Con 1? Pro 3? Yeah?
Yes, I wanted to say, yes,
Yeah.
the media can fuel action, but that doesn't cancel out the harm. A catalyst can spark change, but can also cause collapse if unbalanced. If the media were truly supporting action for most youth, we wouldn't see over half saying they feel doomed or too anxious to function. Changing the conversation is one thing, but changing how we feel and act starts with how the story is told. Thank you.
No problem. Next, we have Pro 3. So, does anyone actually want to be a speaker for Pro 3? Okay. Timer ready? Perfect. Go.
The opposition claims that the media doesn't create helplessness, but according to The Lancet, 2021, 56% of youth believe humanity is doomed, and 45% say climate anxiety affects their daily life. That's not awareness, that's emotional damage. The mission trusted sources like National Geographic and Inspired Influences, but those are exceptions. Most youth don't spend their day reading long-form solutions. They scroll through fear-based content pushed by algorithms built for engagement. So if fear-based media isn't the cause, then why are so many young people tuning out, shutting down, or burning out? Thank you.
Thank you, Pro 3. Anyone have a rebuttal for Pro 3?
Can
Yep.
I rebuttal, please?
What team are you?
Con 4.
Con 4? Yep, that's no problem.
Okay, so uh, do I start now?
Yes, your minute starts now.
Okay, the media often shows extreme disasters caused by climate change, flood, fires, storms, and paints a scary picture of the future. While climate change is real, the way it's shown can be sometimes exaggerated. Many people believe it all, but young people are starting to question it. We've grown up online surrounded by fake news and clickbait, so we've learned not to trust everything we see, especially on social media. That's why media literacy matters. We need to ask, is this information available? Who's sharing it and why? Instead of reacting to fear, we should research, check facts, and think for ourselves.
Thank you, Con 4. Okay, next is Con 2. Any speaker from Con 2? Yep. Would you like to go?
Yep.
Your minute starts now.
Climate action today isn't just happening in parliaments, it's happening on screens. And media is the megaphone that's making it all possible. Young people everywhere are organizing protests, writing climate policy, and building green startups. And the media is what gives their voices power. Think about it. Without platforms sharing their stories, would the world know about school strikes in Uganda, about solar villages in India, about youth climate courts in the Pacific Islands? Probably not. The media connects movements across continents. It shows us we're not alone. It helps youth speak truth to power and forces governments and companies to respond. So, no, the media isn't just spreading fear, it's creating momentum. It shows us that youth aren't just worried about the climate, we're leading the fight to fix it.
Thank you, Con 2. Is there anyone to rebuttal for Con 2? Yep. Pro 4? Yep.
Okay. We are not saying that there aren't positive stories out there. However, they're not given equal weight. They are often buried under the negative stories with dramatic headlines that get more clicks. The ratio is because a constant doom grabs attention while solution-focused stories barely make it past the noise. The imbalance is exactly the problem. Young people need to see that action is happening, not just that the world is burning.
Thank you so much, Pro 4. Next is Pro 2. Is time ready? Yep. Go ahead.
So, our opponents argue that eco anxiety is a constructive concern, a necessary catalyst for action. This is a dangerous mischaracterization that trivializes a genuine mental health crisis. We're not discussing a healthy sense of urgency, we are witnessing debilitating psychological distress. A 2022 scoping review in Frontiers in Psychology comprehensively found that eco anxiety manifests as a range of extreme emotions like sadness, anger, and fear, extending to depression and anxiety. This isn't constructive, it's a profound burden. When media constantly bombards young minds with images of melted glaciers and burning forests, yet fails to provide clear, actionable systemic pathways for change, it fosters powerlessness, not power. This leads to burnout and withdrawal, not sustained engagement. And while social media can mobilize, Con2 ignores its darker side as algorithms prioritize engagement through sensationalism and outrage.
Thank you, Pro 2. Is there a rebuttal for Pro 2? Your minute, is the minute ready, Carl? Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so Proto argues that anxiety, even if well-intentioned, is ultimately a dangerous and damaging catalyst, one that leads to psychological distress, emotional burnout, and mental health decline. So they cite that 2022 scoping review from Frontiers in Psychology, which documents the cases of eco-anxiety manifesting in overwhelming ways when media exposes young people to images of burning forests, flooded towns, and systemic inaction. But this argument misunderstands that both the nature of eco-anxiety and the function of the media. First, first, anxiety is not inherently destructive. It's a signal that something's wrong. So when paired with community education and accessible action pathways, it becomes a driver for change, not a barrier to it. In the fact, the same Frontier study also notes that eco-anxiety can foster deep environmental concerns, also especially when youth feel supported. Media is not the sole source of
Sorry,
distress.
but
The crisis.
Contu, your time is up. Thank you. Next is Con 3. Is there a speaker for Con 3?
I will speak for Con 3.
Yep. Is her timer ready? No problem, you may begin.
Okay, what my team tried to say is that eco-anxiety comes from feeling powerless while watching the world change, but the media does not cause this feeling, it challenges. Although it's not a positive feeling, an American Psychological Associates, while helping youth move from climate anxiety to climate action report in 2025, shows that psychologists were addressing eco-anxiety and the importance of channeling these feelings into constructive actions and fostering resilience. Therefore, the media says, here's the problem, now join the fight, which does not mean it's anxiety, that's agency, and we feel like that's the solution to actually combating environmental problems around the world and creating a better planet overall. Thank you.
Thank you, Con 3. Is there a rebuttal or anyone's rebuttal for Con 3? Pro 3. Anyone from
Yes.
Pro- Yep.
Powerlessness doesn't come from climate alone. It comes from being shown the crisis without the tools to respond. The media may call us to join the fight, but without showing how, it leaves us watching the war from the sidelines. Psychologists do say channeling fear into action builds resilience, but that only works when support and solutions are visible. Right now, most youth are getting panic, not pathways. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pro 3. So next we have Pro 1.
Hi, could I
Yeah,
start?
no problem. You may go.
The media is our strongest ally. Why do so many young people report feeling hopeless or paralyzed after consuming climate news? Research shows that frequent exposure to climate coverage is directly linked to increased anxiety and reduced belief in one's ability to make a difference. And sure, Greta Thunberg and others are very, very helpful. But for every viral hero, there's a flood of fear-mongering headlines and clickbait that leaves people more anxious than active. If awareness alone solve problems, we'd have fixed climate change years ago. Turns out endless bad news can just as easily freeze us in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro 1. Is there anyone for a rebuttal for Pro 1? Yeah, you may go.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, and my honorable debater. I am Boluto Arjuku from Nigeria. And the pro team has stated that the media highlights shocking headlines. But while the media highlights shocking headlines, I recommend them, of course, they are not trying to cause eco anxiety because the media doesn't sugarcoat things, unlike all that. So when the media tries to sugarcoat things, like it's going to hide some sensitive information which is not recommended because the media exposes varieties of information, making people to become aware of their environment, aware of climate crisis, aware of climate action. And I am certain that the media empowers young individuals by letting out things, by creating awareness and not hiding sensitive information by using shocking headlines. Thank you.
Thank you, Con 3. Next is Con 4. Is there a speaker for Con 4? Yes. Carl's the time ready? All right.
In 2022, a study from Manchester University found that 95% of participants reported that they had the personal skills to cope with climate change. And the anxiety that people feel from the media leads to more activism. A four-stage process is observing social media's reporting of climate change, feeling emotionally affected by the reporting, critically appraising the content, and feeling motivated to engage in activism emerged from the content analysis. And this leads to more media coverage, and the cycle repeats as more people start to become more aware and they start to like act upon climate change. Thank you.
No problem, Con 4. Is there anyone to rebuttal for Con 4? Yes, Pro 4, you may go.
Okay, so you said that anxiety leads to activism, but on its own, anxiety doesn't automatically create action. Like it can just as easily create paralysis, burnout, despair, and young people take action not just because their action, even though that is what it may seem, but because they feel empowered, connected, and hopeful that the change is possible. And the media often fails to provide that sense of empowerment. Instead, as me and my team said before, it overwhelms young people and with catastrophe, and instead it doesn't provide solutions or agency. That's it.
Thank you, Pro 4.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. That was really interesting to listen to, and you guys made amazing arguments. We'll be going on to our closing arguments now. With this little, you can have a minute and a half to summarize your points. We're going to start off with Con 1. So can the speaker for Con 1 put their hand up? Okay, Carla, are you ready? Start.
Friends, honorable judges, and also fellow debaters, the pro side claims media fuels eco-anxiety. We say the crisis is the cause, not the coverage. Media doesn't just report problems, it mobilizes youth, highlights solutions, and holds power accountable. It turns awareness into a cool action. Eco-anxiety is a rational response, and media provides the necessary facts and pressure for change. The media isn't a problem, it's a vital ally in our fight for the future.
To conclude, I would like to say that the media plays a major role in inspiring young people to act on climate change. Yes, the way the media portrays the information might seem alarming or frightening, but it is just what's happening around the world. The media gives young people a chance to make their voices heard. As responsible citizens, we need to act upon everything the media shows us. So to say the media fuels eco-anxiety is an irresponsible statement.
And let's remember the emotion that the media does more to fully coincide than to support the action. But everything we've seen from climate march to green technologies proves the opposite. The media educates, it amplifies youth voices, it holds leaders accountable, and it spreads hope, not just fear. Yes, there is anxiety, but it's a normal, even necessary emotion in a global emergency. And the media channels that anxiety into awarenesses, into pressure, and into solutions. And without the media, there is no Greta, no Fridays for Future, and no Team CIS, no awareness of melting ice caps for net zero targets. So we need, so we don't just reject
Thank
this
you
motion.
so much, Con 1. Your
Thank
time
you.
is up. Thank you. Can the speaker or speakers for Pro 2 put your hands up? Time, are you ready? Okay, start.
And the suggest media coverage of corporate accountability and
policy is supportive, and media reports wildly on major corporations announce net zero targets, yet concurrent investigative journalism, sometimes by the very same outlet, reveals these companies are simultaneously expanding fossil fuels operations or actively lobbying against climate legislation. Think of the repeated exposures on companies like Shell or even major banks, which publicly commit to sustainability while their core business or investments tells a different story. That it isn't a supporting action, it's highlighting the systematic hypocrisy. While young people read about endless climate summits yielding insufficient commitments or corporations engaging in blatant greenwashing, it confirms their worst fears that the system is rich and their efforts are fruit. This isn't empowerment, it's a recipe for disengagement, rooting in anger and despair until the narrative shifts from fear to tangible pathways for systematic change. Our youth will continue to be paralyzed, not galvanized.
Perfect. Thank you.
Also, to add that on our closing, um, let us be clear, we are not saying that the media shouldn't report on the climate crisis. We are saying that the way it reports it overwhelmingly through fear, fragmentation, and false narrative of individual blame is doing more harm than good for the mental health and motivation of young people. We firmly believe in climate action, but meaningful action comes from informed, inspired minds, not panic hearts. The
Thank you
media
so
have
much,
the
but your
power
time
to
is
inform.
up. Thank you. For the next group, we have Pro 4. Can the speakers for Pro 4 please put your hands up? Perfect. You may start.
Okay. In closing, we believe that the media does more to fuel eco-anxiety than to support climate action, especially in young people. Instead of informing and empowering us, the media overwhelms us with fear. Headlines scream catastrophe but offer no context. Articles are filled with scientific jargon that feels distant and unreachable, and stories about solution are buried under news outlets using scare tactics. And for what? For clicks and for money? This constant cycle of fear without clear guidance or hope doesn't motivate action. It breeds anxiety and emotional burnout, and it makes young people feel as though the problem is too big and their individual actions are too small to make a difference. The thing is, young people want to be part of the solution. We're passionate, we're ready to act, and we're full of ideas, but we need information we can actually understand. We need stories that highlight what's working and not what's going wrong. Right now, the media is failing us, and it's time for a shift from panic to possibility. Because if we want climate action from the next generation, we need a media that not only informs, but also inspires and empowers, and not one that paralyzes us with fear. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Con 2. Can the speaker or speakers for Con 2 please raise your hands? Okay, you may start.
Okay, so honorable judges and respected peers, the question today is not whether the eco-anxiety is real. It is, but the real mistake is in the media for it. We are not anxious because of headlines. We are anxious because glaciers are melting, forests are burning, species are disappearing, and without the media, we wouldn't even know. The media is not the enemy. It is a megaphone of our generation. It was Blue Planet 2 that sparked plastic bans in the UK schools. It was Slash Team Seas that raised over $33 million to clean our oceans. It was the media that took Fridays for Future from one girl's sign to a global youth revolution. Eco-anxiety is not the end. It is the beginning. And what transforms fear into power? Stories, solutions, and solidarity, all delivered through responsible media. The media teaches when school don't. It connects when government fails. It exposes what polluters try to hide. So instead of asking whether the media causes eco-anxiety, we should ask, where would we be without it? Blind, divided, and unprepared. But with it, we are informed, united, ready. The media didn't create the crisis, it created the movement. So no, this house should not blame the media, because in a world on fire, it's not the noise that dangerous, it's the silence. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For the next group, can we please have Pro 1? Okay, you may start.
While many often celebrate the media as our greatest ally in the fight against climate change, the reality is far more nuanced and troubling. Rather than motivating action, this relentless barrage of alarming coverage often leaves people feeling powerless, not empowered. Let's be honest though, the media isn't just presenting facts. Too often it sensationalizes, amplifying fear and confusion instead of clarity and hope. Yes, we occasionally see stories of inspiring activists, but the overwhelming majority of coverage focuses on doom and disaster, not on solutions or progress. This approach doesn't mobilize the public, it paralyzes them. If the media were truly inspiring meaningful action, we wouldn't be facing such widespread eco-anxiety and despair. Sad truth is, the current media narrative is doing more to stoke fear than to foster real collective climate solutions. It's time we recognize that the media's approach must change if we want to turn anxiety into action and hope into progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much. For our next team, can we please have Con 4? You may start.
Okay. Honorable judges, fellow debaters, and global audience, we oppose these motions because it misunderstands the true cause of eco-anxiety. It underestimates the power of media to ignite real, lasting change. Let's be clear, young people aren't anxious because the media tells them to be. They're anxious because the science is real. We are watching our world overheat, ecosystems collapsing, and biodiversity fade, while time runs out. The media doesn't create the crisis, it reveals it. And more importantly, it reveals what can be done. For instance, look at BBC's Planet Earth Third campaign, which didn't just showcase the beauty of nature, it partnered with global conservation groups and inspired environmental projects in schools across the world. That's not fueling fear, that's fueling action. In the end, anxiety without agency is despair, but anxiety with information, inspiration, and visibility, that becomes momentum. And the media is the bridge from crisis to change. That's why we proudly stand against this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, can we please have Pro 3? You may start.
A very good day to all. We, Team Pro 3, haven't just argued this motion, we have proven it. Today, we expose the bitter truth. The media isn't empowering young people, it's overwhelming them. It's not sparking action, rather, it's fueling a silent crisis. The con teams claim the media empowers us, raises awareness. But we ask, awareness of what? Panic, crisis, fear, with no real guidance on what to do next. That's not empowerment, that's paralysis. They say awareness matters, but awareness without action is empty. What good is knowing the world is burning if you're never told how to put out the flames? For every activist who rises millions are left dooming, scrolling through millions headlines of collapses and catastrophes with barely a solution in sight. That's not engagement, that's emotional exhaustion.
Are you done, or do you have another speaker as well?
Yeah, we do have another speaker.
Okay, they say fear leads to action, but when young people avoid climate news, it's clear fear without hope doesn't move us, it
I'm
shuts us
sorry,
down.
Pro 3, but your time is up.
Okay.
Finally, can we have Con 3? You may start.
In conclusion, the media has done more to support climate action in young people. Like I always say, the media is a bridge to climate action and can never be a barrier. The pro team has said that the media is responsible for fueling eco-anxiety in young people, but we disagree with that fact because actually the media causes eco-empowerment and not eco-anxiety. In our current world, in our society today, we need voice. We need a voice that will stand as a light. We need a voice that will stand as a lighthouse, and the media is the best thing to think of. So the media, in conclusion, the media has done more to support climate action in young people than to fuel eco-anxiety. Thank you.
Our team believes that eco-anxiety is not powered by media. Rationally thinking human can find content that is not powering eco-anxiety, but it is empowering this individual to, how to put it simply, repair our world to become a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you. Now that we're done with this round, we'll be moving on to questions from the audience.
There's questions from the audience that will be asked to each team, and each team has max 1 minute and 30 seconds to respond. So for the first team with Pro Forward, is there any questions for Pro Forward that would like to be asked from the audience? There's a question that says, do we need to fear climate change impacts or prepare ourselves to adapt and become more resilient?
Okay, I think I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
Okay. So while we need fear to drive action, that's not always the case. And we don't need to live in fear. What we need is to be informed, because constant fear doesn't help us adapt or build resilience. As we have said over and over, it overwhelms us and it makes us feel helpless, especially young people. And while the truth is, yes, climate change is serious, fear alone is not a solution. And if we want to adapt and become more resilient, what we need is clear and accessible information and a focus on what can be done. Right now, the media leans too heavily on fear based narratives that trigger anxiety instead of action. And what young people need is not more panic, but more practical guidance and practical solutions. So I think no, we don't need fear. We need more hope and more education, because that is how we turn concern into climate action. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro 4. Okay, is there any questions for Pro 1 for from the audience? So the question says, what is the key thing that makes media helpful?
The key thing in media that makes it helpful for youth of today is the fact that our media outlets have been improved. They have developed into the sense that the youth can actually use the media in their own preferences with their FYPs, and with that, they can actually look at influencers who actually help empower them instead of indulging themselves in eco-anxious influences.
Thank you, on one.
Can I add Rafsan's answer? Sorry.
Sorry?
Can I add Rafsan's answer?
Yeah, no problem.
Well, for me, the key thing that makes media helpful, maybe it's definitely the ability to inform, educate, and also connect people, which media provides timely and relevant information about current events like scientific discoveries and social issues, helping people to stay informed. And also, media platforms allow individuals to connect with others who share similar interests, fostering a sense of community and belonging. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So for for Pro 1, sorry. One question that has been asked is, what is the way you would personally recommend to act against the climate crisis? So for Pro 1, anyone? Yeah?
Okay, so to battle against climate crisis, I would suggest to find proper research, and personally, I feel like that would be really helpful. And I would suggest to join activism groups and to find your own personal ways to help, because you don't want to feel being paralyzed, and you also want to be able to.
Thank you, Pro 1. For Con 1, a question for you. Sorry, Con 4. Sorry, guys. So anyone from Con 4, a question that is available for you is, how can we prevent sensationalist headlines when it is more profitable for media outlets to capitalize on people's ecos anxiety. So anyone from Con4 or any con group would like to take that one? Con4? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. We should not forget that social media isn't just one voice, it's millions. So it's diverse platform where incredible scientists and activists and global organizations all share valuable information. Yes, there is sensationalism, but it's up to us as informed users to choose substance over shock. So the truth is, if you want to know what's happening, social media is often the fastest and most accessible tool we have. In fact, over 60% of the world's populations now uses social media daily. So it's up to us to kind of decide what's the information that we want to look at.
Thank you, Con4. For Pro 2, so one question that has been asked for Pro 2 is if media truly empowers young people, why is eco anxiety on the rise globally? So even for Pro 2 or any group that would like to take that question, if any group would like to, yeah? Who's that? Yeah, cool. Yeah. Would you like to take that question? Yes, you may.
Hi, okay. So I would say that eco anxiety is rising, but it's not because the media is harming young people. It's rising because the climate crisis is escalating, it's real, and it's urgent. The media is not creating the anxiety, it's reflecting the reality. In fact, there are multiple studies that show that over two-thirds of young people feel more motivated to act after engaging with climate content in the media. So rather than paralyzing the youth, the media helps to transform fear into informed, collective action. Because without media coverage, young people would face the crisis in silence, being confused, disconnected, and perhaps a bit powerless.
Thank you for that. Pro 2, one question that is available is do you think young people see things differently to their parents and grandparents? And if so, why?
Yes, I believe young people don't just see the climate crisis, they also feel it in a real time. While many parents grew up hearing about a distant threat, today's youth are living its consequences, from flooded streets to wildfire smoke. So now we view the world not as something to inherit, but something we must urgently protect.
Thank you for that, Pro 2. Okay, so another question that is out is when so for Pro 2, sorry, this is a quick one. You touched on greenwashing. When companies pretend to be more environmentally friendly than they really are, how might that make young people feel more stressed or worried about the environment, and unsure about what actions to take? So if anyone would like to quickly answer that one. Okay.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, that's fine.
So constant reporting on corporate failures without corresponding examples of successful accountability mechanisms or policy wins driven by public pressure reinforces the idea that the public is too big, too corrupt, or simply unfixable. Young people are left with anger but no clear outlet for it, leading to a sense of futility. It becomes a loop of bad news without sufficient examples of how the bad actors are being stopped or held accountable in a way that inspires hope. This doesn't support action, it cultivates despair in the face of insurmountable odds. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions available for Con 3? Okay, so one question for Pro 3, is as a young person, how can I deal with climate depression? So anyone from Pro 3 would like to take that question?
Okay, could I take the question?
No problem.
Okay. As a young person, you could learn that dealing with climate depression starts by shifting from isolation to action. It's easy to feel hopeless when all you see is destruction, but that's why it's so important to seek out stories of change, join local climate groups, and talk to others who care. Action doesn't have to be huge, it just has to be consistent. Whether it's reducing waste, raising awareness, or supporting green innovation, doing something helps replace fear with purpose. And we have to remind ourselves this is a shared fight. You're not alone in caring, and that alone can make all the difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone like to add on to that from Pro 3?
Can I also add on to it? So the first step is recognizing that it's okay to feel this way. Climate anxiety is a real mental health issue, and many young people are going through it. But one of the best ways to deal with it is to shift from fear to action. Firstly, you can focus on what you can control. So you can join local climate projects, plant trees, reduce your carbon footprint, or campaign for local change at school. And you can limit doom scrolling. Too much negative media makes it worse. Follow accounts and pages that focus on climate solutions and hope-driven action. You can you can talk about it. You can talk about it with friends, teachers, or even mental health professionals. And remember, action is the best antidote to anxiety. Small steps can make a big difference for the planet and for your mental health as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro 3. So we have questions. Questions have not been asked for Con 3 and Con 2. So if anyone has questions mainly for Con 3 and Con 2, that would be great. Um, but we have a question for Con 4. How can we believe change is possible if we're only shown disaster? Yeah, would you like to take that answer?
Okay, so we can believe change is possible because the media doesn't only show disaster. Yes, there are many headlines that are very urgent, and they should be, but there are also headlines that show progress. From different countries hitting the net zero goals to communities switching to clean energy. We've seen youth led climate strikes spark global awareness like Fridays for Future. We've seen coral reefs being restored, carbon capture tech advancing, and even climate laws being passed. Yes, the disaster is real, but so is the fight. Change starts by knowing what's wrong and then seeing who's standing up to fix it. And the media shows us both. That's how we know change isn't just possible, it's already happening. So if you continue to research and look for the positive and the growth and see what you can do in society to make a difference, I think that's the best way to realize that change is possible.
Thank you, Con 4. A question available for Con 3 is how do you choose the media that you can trust? So if anyone from Con 3 would like to answer. Yeah?
Can I please take the question, if that's okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we need to see that we see the media, we need to first verify the sources. So we need to go outside from that media source. We can search and we can see if it's a reputable source of media. We can cross-check the information from other websites, from other media. We are young people, but I feel like we also need to recognize, even though we are young, we do still have a common sense and we still are smart. Just because we're young does not mean that we don't have the strong sense of information and the strong sense of wanting to change. So we can evaluate the biases and we can be cautious of sensationalism. So because we are on media every day, we surely would be able to see what is sensationalized and what is not sensationalized. Also, even if we just look at YouTube, and the TSL videos that were posted, we could see this little small thing underneath the videos that talked about climate action and climate change. And if we click that, it takes us to a website that talks about climate action and climate change. Therefore, just because all media is not trustable doesn't mean we shouldn't take out media as a whole, because it is a big major tool that should be catalyzed to bring about great change and great action. Because right now, in current status quo, there's no other tool that we can use for our advantage to get the global people involved to create great change on one goal and one plan, which should be on better environmental change and better environmental action. Thank you.
Thank you, Con 3. Would there be a question for Con 2? Does anyone have a question specifically for Con 2 as they haven't been asked a question? Oh, perfect. So for anyone who is in Con 2, I live in a small community. This person has said that they live in a small community, and what actions would they take in to ensure that climate health for themselves and for their community? So anyone from Con 2, would you like to take that question?
So at individual level, they can buy less and use longer and travel wisely and save energy. But if they are talking about community level, they can educate others, held seminars and organize cleanups and tree planting activities, support local eco-friendly businesses, and vote and advocate the leaders that focus on sustainability.
Thank you, Con 2. Thank you everybody for putting in your questions from the Q&A and in the webinar chat. So right now, yeah, I think that was a really great round, and it was really cool to hear how all the teams were going. So yeah.
Yeah. So right now we're going to have a 30-minute break for the judges to make their decision. So Carl on my right for us to join back here in half an hour.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So I just wanted to say a massive thank you, first of all, to Ose and Mikaya for expertly moderating that tough debate. And you did it with such ease and style. So thank you so, so much for doing that. I think the debaters were in expert hands. Thank you to all of the debaters for their incredible arguments and all the amazing work that you've clearly put into creating your videos and to preparing your arguments and your thoughtful responses. So thank you so, so much to all of you and to supporting teachers and parents as well. I think the judges have a very, very hard task now. So I think if we end now and give them an extra few minutes, that would be brilliant. Excellent. So thank you so much and see you at 1:30, everyone.
You did amazing, guys. Have some water, please.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good little break after such intense debating. We are just waiting for our judges to rejoin us. We will be starting shortly with the awards for international student competition winners. So that's that competition that you entered many months ago, from which you were selected as the top 2 from your country. So we're first going to have the awards for that, and then at about 1:15, we are going to be rejoining our judges, and they're going to be feeding back on they're going to be feeding back on the debates and revealing the winners. All right, ready to are we ready to reveal the winners of the TSL 2025 International Students Competition in the secondary schools category? So I think I mentioned already we had 2,173 entries, 75% approximately of which were from secondary students like yourselves. And from that, we had the incredible challenge of picking out the top 10 contenders who then went to our international judging panel. And it's from that list that we are going to be honoring the very high caliber of contributions and entries that you made. So could we start in joint 10th place? We have 2 winners. We have Katomeris Georgios from Greece, and we have Yap Yen Jun from Malaysia. I don't know if either of those were in the debating teams. No, that's fine. But if we miss anybody, we'll come back. We'll come back to you, okay? But please put up your hand so that Zenadine and Beth can be looking out for you, because we would very, very much like to include you if you are present today even if you're in the audience, if you're not a panelist, that's absolutely fine. We'd love to send a message to Zenadine and Beth, and then we'd love to bring you up as a panelist. Okay. Okay, and then in joint ninth place, we have two winners again. We have Syed Sulaiman from the UK, and we have Ogbolotuo Solomon from Nigeria. And I believe they're both present with us today. Please, could you put your hands up? And in fact, I've got all of the winning entries here in front of me, so let me just say, yeah, Saeed talked a lot about linking financial sustainability to eco-action. I thought that was really interesting. And Ogbolotuo talked about the environmental degradation, particularly in Nigeria. So if they're not present, that's fine. We'll move on to joint eighth place. We've got Huang Tra from Vietnam, and we've got Darun Bhupesh from Sri Lanka. Are they with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, Darren. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Carl, I think you missed the name as well for eighth place.
Oh, yes. So, Huang V. Huang Tra is, I'm probably mispronouncing the name and I apologize. Is Huang the Huang Tra with us? No. Anyway, Darren, thank you so much for your contribution. How does it feel?
It feels good, I guess, yeah.
As it should, as it should. And thank you for debating as well today. Such a brilliant job. Okay, thank you, thank you. And again, as I said, if you are with us but you haven't been called to the screen yet, that's fine. We'll be with you shortly. Okay, in seventh place, we actually have three winners in seventh place. We have Jana Dawood from Jordan, we have Akshat Parmar from India, and we have Sajeda Husseini from Afghanistan. And we really, we've really enjoyed reading all of your entries. Yes, so Dana, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, it's pronounced Jana, but
Jana,
yeah.
okay. Yes, I didn't know if the J was silent.
Yeah.
Sajeda, welcome and congratulations. And Akshat was with us earlier. I don't know if Akshat is.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, we'll just call you up. So thank you for your debates today and your incredible contributions. And it's no surprise that you did so well and were in the top 10 in seventh place. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Okay. And we'll be back shortly with the debate winners as well. Okay, and then in joint sixth place, we have Darshil Saxena from the UK and Franzen Manarang from Philippines.
Yeah, I'm here.
Darshil's here as well. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so you came joint sixth. Thank you for your wonderful essays. You both wrote essays. Franzen wrote about predators and prey, and Darshil also wrote a very moving essay. So thank you for that.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, and then in joint fifth place, we have Reese Putra Evans from Malaysia and Hoka Chun from Hong Kong. Or are they with us? Fabio, yes. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. So you came sixth, sir.
Oh,
Not bad, huh?
yeah, I'm happy with that.
Brilliant. Okay. So congratulations. And I have a feeling Reese Evans might not be with us. No. Okay. Very good. And moving on, in fourth place, we have three joint winners. We have Umar Aftab Ahmad from Pakistan. We have Yusuf Humran from Bangladesh, and we have Sumaya Sadia B from Fiji. Hello, Sumaya.
Hello.
How are you? Is it the middle of the night?
Yes.
Yes.
It's actually 11:42.
Goodness me, a late night, but a good reason to be up to collect your prize. So congratulations. Thank you for writing so movingly about Fiji and the rising storms and that unfortunately are being caused by climate change and affecting your island. Congratulations, Maya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think Umar and Yusuf are with us, but if they are, please identify yourselves to Zenadine and Beth. Okay, then moving on to joint third place, we have two winners. We have Anarita Naka from Italy, and we have Dilbar Komilova from Uzbekistan.
Hi, yeah, thank you.
Hello, well done.
Thank you.
We thought your essay was incredibly creative.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And I don't know if Dilbar made it today, but all right. Thank you so much. And moving on to joint second place, we have two also very talented winners. We have Eli Yossa from the Democratic Republic of Congo for his video about recycling for the planet. And we have Michiel Enkbayar from Mongolia, who created a whole comic book as her entry to this year's competition. Incredibly creative.
Hello. So I'm trying to turn my video on, please.
No problem. We're waiting. That's fine, Ellie. Michiel, thank you so much for your very, very creative comic book. Can you tell us a bit about the process that you went through to create it?
I originally entered my school's eco club, and my teacher first introduced this competition to me and said like I could write an essay, but when I read the rules and saw that I could use any creative expression, I just thought, well, I love drawing, so I might as well just draw a comic for fun. I didn't think it would get this high of a place.
Absolutely. You don't think we'd miss that, do you? No. Okay. Well, anyway, well done, Michelle. Totally well deserved. And Ellie, Yossa, are you able to get your video on? It doesn't matter if you don't have a video, we can.
So I have the issues to turn my camera on. So is active from you. Maybe you could help me to turn it on, please.
Okay, well, we're trying, but we can hear you. We can hear you. So congratulations on your school project, Recycling for the Planet. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. It will be a winsome thing. I'm so happy to hear that, and I'm so also available to share it to you and speaking more about it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So now we have the first place announcement. This also happens to be our grand prize winner of the entire competition. So from all the 2,173 entries from primary students and secondary students. And I am very delighted to welcome now to the screen Michelle Amadiegwu from the UK. Hello, Michelle. And Michelle had the most incredible entry. She created an eco-anxiety rap, which which we're going to share in a moment. Okay, but Michelle, maybe you could explain a little bit how that came to be created.
So in my school, like my geography class, we all had to enter into it, and I didn't want to do an essay. Like I'm not like that good at writing and stuff. So then when I saw that we could do like anything creative, I chose to do that. And I usually do like musical like projects for my homework, so I decided to do it here as well. But I never thought I was gonna get like even finalist.
Well, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and the judges obviously agreed. And I can see a few people nodding their heads in absolute agreement. So is it all right, Michelle, if we play it now, if we try to share it now with everybody?
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you. Please stay on the screen, and Beth will try to play it. And we're going to add the link. We're going to add a link into the chat so that people can listen to the song, hopefully download it. We are loading it up to various streaming channels as well. All right, go ahead.
There is no planet B. There is no planet Y.
If anybody tells you that your voice doesn't count and that you're too young to make a difference, do not believe them.
Anxiety is putting the youth in a panic. Then the world's gonna sing like Titanic. Fire's burning up just like volcanic eruptions. Heart is pounding, deep depression, lack of sleep, severe obsession, chronic fear of Earth's regression. World is ending, no progression. It's got them feeling hopeless, no planet B in every protest. And when the government do nothing, it's causing all the youngsters to copeless. But the adults they think it's fine. Then they saw a paper online. Deep adaptation, death's inevitable, and we've fallen behind. 100,000 people read it. It's putting people in therapy. They call it ego anxiety, fear of the end that's already in front of me. But the present is not any better. The Sahara Desert getting wetter. Fossil fuels are affecting the weather. Will it stay like this forevermore? Because you just cannot ignore the fact that we're fighting a war against something that could be our fate. Why does it feel like it's too late? We could be extinct by 2050, so what if we adapt and wait? Or what if we mitigate? No, I think it's too late. Cause that's 25 years away. Half of coral reefs gone today. Climate refugees nowhere to stay. Fires, droughts, global decay. Every year is hotter than the past. It's worse than what we forecasted. Rate is increasing, it's getting faster. How long are we gonna? When somebody enters this mindset, they worry too much about the climate. This problem they can't see the climate, and the answer they just gotta find. Yeah, if we all learn to accept it, be aware that we cannot prevent it. Cause this planet we gotta protect it. I respect it, not neglect it. First off, you gotta face the facts. The fact that you faced it means you can make it. Focus on the good, don't mistake it. Take that anxiety and replace it. One thing that comes with ease. Go outside, feel the breeze, see the sea, hug a tree, take a breath and just freeze. Yes, I said take a breath, take a break from the news and just rest. Sometimes facts are hard to digest, so when you get stressed, you're forced to protest. Do your own bit, even if you can't fight. Like buy less clothes and turn off the light. Have a meat-free meal for dinner tonight. When you do your own good, it'll feel alright. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Wasteful materials you can upcycle. Forget the cargo, walk, bus or cycle. Lesser emissions, better and vital. Good for the world and better for you. And best for the youth who lost this due. Mental health, you see it improve. Spread the word and make it taboo. Cause and it's this blue planet I'd rather be in. So amidst all this calamity, we gotta have faith in humanity. Cause and it's this green planet I'd rather be in. You gotta have a right mentality and rise against eco-anxiety.
Well, Michelle, again, amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to try to get a video made. We're going to be looking for people to help us make a video of your song. And then hopefully we'll be promoting it globally. All right.
Thank you.
Michelle, is there anything else you wanted to add about the process?
No, not really. But thank you.
Please keep making music. Please, you're incredibly talented.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. We've come to the end of the international awards for the main competition, but now I have the great pleasure of inviting the debate judges today to get back to you on the debates and tell you who the winners are. All right. Thank you,
Hello.
judges. Hello.
I am here. Just to say I am here. I've just disappeared into the grass.
Yes,
For some reason,
that's all
everything's been
right.
so good today. I've returned to the earth. I don't know what's happened.
That's very ecological of you. So I think it's very fitting. That's absolutely fine. It'll help us with our eco-anxiety. All right. So I'm going to first of all thank the judges for your hard work today. I think the debaters made it very hard for you, but I see you're still standing, even if you are hiding in the grass. Yes, and so please could I hand over to the judges for some general remarks.
Sure. So I'm just going to make some very general remarks, really, to say well done to everybody. Really fantastic effort. The videos were really well put together. Some of them extremely professional. There's definitely some jobs out there for some budding filmmakers. So really a good job with that. And it was great to see the level of debate. Debate's really important. So keep debating with people. Keep participating. It was really nice to see lots of participation. So well done, everybody. Well done for your passion. As I said, it was a very, very difficult decision to decide on the winners.
I could just add a couple of words to that. As an old person who's done a bit of debating and public speaking, just to say that the only way to get even better than you all are is just to do more of it and get older. So you'll just keep getting better. So bear that in mind. And also, I just jotted down hurriedly a few things that were said by different people. I didn't actually know necessarily who said what, but I thought they were all quite profound comments. So, I'll just say a couple and then move on. So, good journalism is rare and not spread by algorithms. I tend to think that might be true, but maybe share the good stuff when you find it. You choose your social media, and young people need a lighthouse. If that's not copying someone else's quote, that's a pretty profound observation. And I'd say that we probably all need a lighthouse. So over to the next person and over to the next generation.
I'll just say a few things. Yeah, this was all so interesting for me to listen to today. I'm training in journalism right now, so listening to all of you speak about how journalism and reporting on the climate needs to be improved was really interesting. So thank you for having these discussions. So many really well structured and arguments and really confident speakers. I think the really strong ones to me stood out when you use specific examples and dug deeper as to what you mean by the media, because obviously it's such a broad spectrum of platforms. And a really interesting point, I think this was in one of the videos, was someone made about influencer culture and the consumption and buying things you don't need. I thought that was really interesting because that's different to the normal news that you watch on TV. And yeah, a few people were speaking about the nature of digital algorithms and how they they don't exactly go hand in hand with the kind of the kind of inspiring and communication that we need when speaking about the climate. And then finally, I think a few of you were speaking about media literacy, which I thought was really interesting and really breaking down what it means to cross-reference your work, cross-reference what you see, and relying on your common sense as to really critique what you're reading and seeing online. So yeah, it was a really, really interesting discussion. So yeah, thanks for having us.
Great. So without talking much more, I can sense that everybody's keen to find out the results. So Yeah, just from me, just say everyone was very inspirational, and I actually found myself getting quite emotional, especially during some of those videos that were being shown as well. So well done to everybody. So for the judges' honourable mentions for the groups category, and this is in no particular order, just to say well done to you all. So we have, I'm going to say the team names. So that's Con 1. Congratulations, thank you. Con 4, great work. Pro 1 and Pro 2 in the honourable mentions category. For the judges' commendations, we have Con 3, Pro 4 and Pro 3. And then as the group overall winner, we have Con 2. Congratulations. We based it on a combination of different things, including the video, speakers, arguments, and the way that the group worked together as well. So well done to everybody taking part, particularly to Con 2. Should we move on to the individual categories then? I'm not sure if anybody wants to say anything in particular about how we judged this one.
Except to say, I think it's quite hard it was quite hard to choose. So we used up all our time and we could have spent longer debating it, but we had to make a decision in the end. So
exactly, it was very difficult. We were told to have 6 commendations, but we've actually chosen 7 because it was very hard deliberating. So in the commendations for individual speakers, we have Ariana Renbeck, Mishima Govinda, Tarika Gina, Jaisha Vipin, Akshat Palmer, Selvesh Sentil, and Sajida Husseini. Congratulations to everybody there. We thought your arguments were brilliant. In fact, everybody's were, but yours particularly stood out for us, and the way that you presented those arguments as well, and some very clear points sticking with us, with the judges. So then for the overall individual winner, we'd like to award that to Jana Dowd.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes, well done, Jana, and well done, all of you, actually. As the judges have said, very, very, very difficult to pick out any individual winners. But all of your hard work in the groups has been absolutely recognized, and the judges have done their best to try to pick out 7 individual contributors. And Jana, well done for winning the best overall. All right, thank you. Okay, well, I think, judges, is there anything else to add before we close today?
I don't think so. I think, as I said earlier, just keep on having healthy discussions and healthy debate.
Thank you, Andy. Yes, and look out for the announcements in September of the competition title for 2026. You'll be able to submit entries from September onwards, and be absolutely creative. This year we had our 15th anniversary, and we opened up the competition to different forms of expression, not just essays. And we're very, very happy with how that went. So we're going to keep doing that. So please, all of you, be as creative as possible. Start thinking about, how you can express yourselves in the most powerful ways. And we're simply here as a platform for youth voices in these very challenging times. We have to try to create a sustainable future, when the tide is not always on our side, which is why we choose to work with young people like yourselves in order to shift the dial and make eco action happen. So thank you for all of your incredible ideas about eco action. Thanks for today, critiquing the media and what it does well, what it could do better, and maybe not throwing the media, the baby out with the bathwater where the media is concerned. Maybe we just have to keep improving the media to serve sustainability. Yes, so congratulations, everybody, and have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Congrats, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.